Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Beyond Your Horizon podcast with me, your host, Jon John. And today we are stepping into a conversation that is real, raw, and maybe a little taboo. But I want you to know I am not afraid to go there. Today's guest is Mobu. Mobu is a self proclaimed anal sex guru, and he's here to break down everything we didn't learn in sex education. From preparation and safety to pleasure and communication for all bodies and orientations. We talk about the mental side of intimacy, how to spot difference between discomfort and pain, and why his motto, learn to enjoy, not endure, could change your entire approach to sex. So, whether you're curious, experienced, or just want to understand more about the art and science of anal play, this episode is full of real talk, practical tips, and yes, a few laughs along the way. Now, this episode here is for adults only, okay? So, even if you're an adult, grab your headphones because yeah, this one probably isn't safe for work, okay? NSFW. I should put this in the title, okay? But anywho, enjoy this conversation and let's all go beyond our horizon together into the world of anal play. Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Beyond Your Horizon podcast. I am your host, Jon John, and today, is there somebody calling you?
What
Do you need
about?
to go get that?
No. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Go bees, go bees. Hey, we're gonna keep this thing live and natural and keep it moving. We heard the doorbell ring and didn't know if somebody was coming over. Maybe a client was coming through or something like that. So
No, that was about 2 weeks ago. Very nice girl.
we'll get into that later. We'll get into that later. But again, this is another episode of the Beyond Your Horizon podcast. And today we're going to have a conversation that some people may consider to be taboo. You know, be at this on this podcast, I do like to have conversations that expand our knowledge, you know, so whether that is expanding the knowledge on a professional setting, because on a recent episode I just did, I was sitting down with the HR transformation guru herself, Melanie White. But today we are going to have a more adult conversation. So I will go ahead and put that disclaimer out there that this episode is for adults 18 and over. We are going to be discussing something that I feel applies to us all because we all have one, right? And like the little joke says, everyone has one, and they all stink. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. We are going to have a conversation today about anal sex. Yes, we're going to have it about anal sex. Have this conversation. Like I said, we all have one. You know, for some of us, ours are multifunctional, multi-purpose, multi-use, and so some of us we like that little backdoor action. And I met my guest on Facebook dating, Mr. Mobu himself, the self-proclaimed anal guru, and he immediately intrigued me when he let me know what his passion is, what his profession is, and the type of coach that he is. Because I've never in my life met someone who was an anal sex guru. You know, I think for a lot of us who do enjoy anal sex, we just kind of like we Google, we find out, you know, we try some things out, we um maybe just watch porn and we figure it out. But I thought it was just so interesting and not only interesting but beneficial to have someone who has put in the work to not only teach us how to have pleasure during anal sex, but also to teach us ways of safety and and how we can continue to enjoy our sexual liberation, our sexual lifestyle in a very safe way. So, without further ado, I am going to introduce Mobu, the anal guru. He's over there right now, sipping on his homemade lemonade. I wish I had a cup myself. How you doing over there, Mobu?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. It's been an interesting couple of weeks, but things are panning out. Things are fine.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, and I do want to talk about that because I know recently you lost your uncle, right?
Yes, sir. I did.
You did. I know that was heavy, but you got to spend some time with your family over the week
Oh
and
yeah, that
say
was.
your farewell.
I got a chance to spend time with my brothers, and my brother and my cousins and their kids, and all the old people came
Mm.
and made me feel less old, but then all the young people there made me feel more old. So, but like it was beautiful. It was one of those like Spike Lee movie moments. You know what I mean? Straight up
Yes.
wholesome blackness out there, and I was like, "Yeah, I miss this." So as soon as I get a few things taken care of, I will be heading back down that direction to visit my aunt again and visit my folks. But yeah, we're not going to go that far. We're sticking with this, right? Because
Yes.
I can expound on wholesome blackness all day right now.
Good. And that's amazing, but that is something that it often takes funerals for families to get together, and that is sad that it generally does take that in order for us to get together. So, sticking on the subject of your uncle passing, I do want you, as a icebreaker here, to share one of your most memorable memories with that you've had with your uncle, so we can all get a glimpse of who he was.
Well, I don't really have a specific memory. I just remember this man as being I don't know how to put this, man, like the coolest man on the planet. I mean, I didn't like him at first because I was young and he was huge, he was scary, and he mumbled. I couldn't understand it. But as I grew older and I started actually chilling with him and learning who he was, and like, yeah, he was a
Mm.
he was the coolest dude ever. You know, and I found out at his funeral that he was an amazing basketball player, which obviously passed down his genes because my cousin, his son, it was a basketball beast in his day, and his daughter is a basketball beast in her day, and it's oh god, man,
Mm.
like this man worked at Bluebird building buses, right? Was a basketball star from college up. Had a chance to go to Australia and play there professionally, but decided to stay home with my aunt. That's love, right? So like, I didn't know any of this stuff until the funeral. It's like when you find out how awesome your parents were at theirs, right? Because no, your parents aren't going to tell you. But still, I really felt cheated that I didn't spend a lot of time with him. But like the time I did spend with him, he was always encouraging, and he was always like he'd let me know if I was screwing up. You know, like the very few times he did warn me, and I do mean very few because I never really went to him for a lot of stuff. But very few times he did warn me, and I did listen. It all panned out. So like when I was down, he would always tell me, "Yo, man, just keep moving, keep it up." He was the one that told me to keep pushing. That's where I get that from.
Keep pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Keep pushing. Okay. I'm not going to joke about that phrase right now because I've been told to push out too. But since we're talking, we're talking.
Wow, that ice broken. Just smash that thing with a giant sex joke hammer. Kaboom! I was reflecting for a moment, like, yeah. They're like, yeah, I was told to push out, keep pushing too. Giggity giggity. Oh, it's gonna get worse. This is gonna get worse, people. People, you watching this, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse, but we're gonna give you some information. You're gonna learn some things, and it's gonna be great.
But rest in peace. What was his name?
Johnny Lee Davis.
Rest in peace, Johnny Lee
Lee
Davis.
Davis.
He sounds like an awesome man. Sounds like he lived his life the way he wanted to live it and live this life to the fullest. And yeah, I hope you remember. We all can remember that. Let's all take that upon our on ourselves. That keep pushing. I think that's a great motto for us all. No matter what we are doing, no matter what we are striving for, with Beyond Your Horizon, I do believe that we all have a calling. We all have a purpose, and we all have dreams and goals. And I think it is important that we do remember the encouragement of your uncle, which is keep pushing. And then before I get into the heavy part of this conversation too, or the purpose of why we are here, the shirt. Okay, I want to talk about the shirt too, because this is a shirt that you were wearing on Facebook. It says "Bust a Nut." Okay, and when I saw it, my brain put the T after the bus, and I just knew that's what the shirt was about. So but looking at it now, I realize that it's spelled BUS, like a regular bus, and coming soon bus.com. Like, what is that about?
All right, shameless plug time.
Okay.
I am the moderator in a swing group called the Fuck Bus People, also as Coming Soon Bus. Right? This is an actual party bus owned and maintained by the people I work for that, lifestyle venues can rent, or lifestyle groups can rent, or groups of people can rent. And it's a bus that drives around Atlanta or wherever you guys need to go back and forth from. And it's a party bus with beds and such, so you can bang a bang a bang on the way to your thing. Let's say you want to go to a wedding, but you don't really want to go to the wedding, and you want to low key disrespect the bride. Jump in the fuck bus. Have all your friends fuck. Get out there smelling like raw sex, and you're like, oh, that's disrespectful. But no, seriously though. But you could use for lots of things, right? Let's say you have a yacht party. You want to go to. It's like a 3 or 4 hour drive. Rent the fuckbook post. You and your friends can get in there and do your thing the whole 3 hours, and then get off, literally and figuratively.
Bang, bang, bang on the way to your thing. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Look it up. We have a website you can actually join. We are often seen hosting suites at various hotel takeovers in the Atlanta area. Yeah, come by, check us out. We're hoping to get enough interest to actually have an actual event with the bus. So, come through, come check us out. Check out our website.
Right.
We have a Facebook group as well, Coming Soon. That's the name of it, Coming Soon. And like I said, October we're hosting a suite, another hotel takeover. I'll get you the information if you ask me. But yeah, these are the folks that I have the designation as anal sex educator.
Oh, nice. Okay, good. That's a good segue right into what we are here to discuss. It's comingsoonbus.com. Y'all check them out. Now, so you've already led us into that through this organization. This is how you've been designated as the anal sex guru. But before we get into what you do,
actually, I was designated that before I did this.
Before.
But yeah, I was actually they saw my potential and was like, yes, come do this for us. And I'm like, thank you.
All right. So when did this start? Okay, I want you to take us back, because I know you just didn't wake up one day and be like, okay, I am now the anal sex guru. Give us the origin story before you even assumed this title.
Okay.
What brought you here?
For lack of sounding cliche, I like butts and I cannot lie. But as I grew to know them and love them, I didn't know there are other venues of sex up until I was maybe 12, 13, experimenting, porn, things of that nature. But moving up to an adult, like I said, I always had a thing for anal sex, but I was really ashamed of it because it was considered taboo, especially in the black community. It wasn't a thing only sissies and punks did that, right? Right. But I thought otherwise. And besides, I didn't really have those sort of lines when it came to sex. It took me a while to get to that point too. But the true origin story, where I determined that this is what I want to do, is I married this young lady. Her name was Angie. Um, she knew that I liked to do it from the back door, and but unfortunately, she had had a really bad trauma in her youth. Uh, in her youth, she attempted a double penetration with a few guys who were impatient and young, and they ripped her. And she had horrible scarring. So it made the whole thing difficult. And I took it upon myself to make anal sex as pleasurable and as I don't know, yeah, as pleasurable as I possibly could for her, considering her trauma. I had to take into account her trauma. I had to take into account the scarring, the physicality, all of those things. And over time, with her, we developed this amazing system that involved, changing the diet for, temporarily, cleansing, breathing exercises, you know what I'm saying? Connection, foreplay techniques, things of that nature. And once we got divorced, I started applying those to, other ladies that I'd met while I was in the lifestyle when I came to Atlanta. And sorry, sorry.
Not to
That's
apologize.
that's actually partially true because I had been doing butt stuff with like other people before that, but like the techniques I applied, I just put them all together in this
Mm-hmm.
point in time. And it was my ex-wife that told me I should write a book
Hmm.
because I helped her go from a traumatized anal victim to an empowered anal sex loving queen. Because, like I said, she had gone through some trauma. She had been torn and ripped, and there's a lot to go through with that. So, when you get hurt sexually, and everyone should know this, it not only affects that part, but it also affects the mind, right? Sexual trauma jacks up people badly. And so,
Hmm.
that's why I did this. That's why I specialize in traumatic experiences. I think everyone should know their bodies in every way. They should know that orgasms are possible in different ways. There are new avenues of pleasure. You don't have to do the same thing all the time, right? And my friend here informed me that there are a lot of because I developed this program for hetero couples because when Roe v. Wade got repealed, I wanted my people to have another way of getting off that didn't lead to pregnancy.
Right.
But my friend here informed me that there are a lot of queer men who are not doing it right either, and that shocked me because my methodology is not just for like hetero couples, but it also can apply to queer couples as well. You know,
Right.
there are a few things that are different, like the twin palm method goes from a palm to a stroke instead of two fingers here, it's a finger and a stroke, right? Other
Oh.
things, yeah, we'll get into that. And other things are slightly different, but it all pans out the same. But that's
Yeah.
my
And
origin
that.
story.
Okay. And right. And I think that's one I would do want to commend you for what you did with your ex-wife, for listening to her, for being there, knowing she had this traumatic experience and doing the work to make her as comfortable as possible to increase her pleasure. I hear a lot of women say that that men are not really in tune with the female body, and a lot of the sex is focused on the man's pleasure and not the pleasure of the woman. And a lot of women, I do feel, are sacrificing their own pleasure just to please their male partner. So I do want to commend you for you being there, for seeing that, recognizing it, and doing the work on, and not just making it her responsibility to handle her trauma. You took it upon yourself to figure out, how can I make this the most pleasurable experience for her, to help her heal. And I love the part that you touched on the mental component. You touched on like the diet component. Like all of these things that led up to the actual act, to make certain that it was an enjoyable experience for both you and her. I commend you for that.
And to add to that, The main phrase of my program is learn to enjoy, not endure.
Mm.
Because I also hear a lot of those stories as well. Like in the times I've had sessions, I've heard many a story of a woman telling me that she only bent over and spread them because it would make her husband happy. I've heard dudes tell me that, dude didn't do it right. It was at the wrong angle, but I know he'd be over quickly, so I let him do it. And I'm just like, that's a travesty, man. That's like going to like a chocolatier and they give you a spoonful of cocoa powder and be like, there, enjoy that.
Mm.
But I don't want to. That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
No one
Let me
should
ask you.
ever do that.
No, they shouldn't. And let me ask you this, because I was going to ask you this, because what is the difference between discomfort and pain? Because I do know, with anal sex, there is going to be a slight discomfort at the beginning. So how do you teach, I guess, for people to understand the difference between discomfort and pain?
Okay. The signs that something is wrong is a burning sensation. Like a slight pinch, that's discomfort. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe something's being stressed a little bit too loud, like,
Mm-hmm.
that's discomfort. Burning is pain. Anything beyond burning is pain. The moment you feel burning, stop. Stop. Pull out. Pull out slowly. And then let the body rest. Because there could be a lube issue, there could be an angle issue. Okay? Or it could just be like, not quite ready yet. Give me some more fingers and tongue. Give me some more toy. Give me something else before we go there. See, now you have me like jumping sections, but
No, it's cool. I love that. I love this. We can go straight into. We can go straight into now the actual like techniques, because we are going in that route. We're having a conversation we're supposed to have, and I do, and I don't expect for this episode to be able to capture all that you do and all that it takes, because this is something that you are a anal sex guru who offers personal one-on-one coaching sessions as well.
yes,
So,
doubles and
so
singles.
yeah, listeners, you're not going to get everything in this episode, but if something that you are hearing from Mobu says like, oh, you know what, I want to hear more about this, stay tuned, and Mobu will share how you can reach out to him one-on-one. Because just like you said, this is a lot. Like your ex said, you should write a book about this. So I don't expect that this episode is going to cover all that there is to know. But are you ready to talk about maybe some of the techniques and methods that you do?
Sure. Yeah, yeah, I can
Mhm.
do that. I'd like to start with the mental component first off.
Okay.
All right, because like I was saying before, sex starts up here, then goes down to there. All right, so like when the mental
And up here being the mind,
being the
and
mind,
down to the body. For those
yes.
who are listening and only
Oh, I'm
and not
sorry.
seeing,
I
right?
forgot about that. We're also doing this audio.
They was like,
Uh,
here, what?
I listen to a lot of podcasts that do the same thing we just did, and I laugh at them. And I am now one of them. Oh,
They're like, sorry, here and goes there. What is that?
oh, I'm one of those guys now.
Okay.
I can no longer laugh at them anymore. Okay, it starts in the head and it goes to the body, right? Now, when you're going to attempt something like this with your partner, it is important that they understand that communication and learning what your body cues are is key. And what I mean by body cues, little physical hints, things that you do subconsciously that let people know that something is wrong or something is right. For instance, everybody can understand this one. When something goes up your butthole wrong, you flinch.
Mm.
You can't just stop that. That's a body cue. All right? Every couple should have those. You got if you guys have been doing this for so long, both queer and straight couples, you guys have been doing this so long, you should know each other. You should know what they like when they feel good, when they not feel good. Okay? So it's important that when you're doing this thing that you understand their body cues and communicate. I tell this to the bottoms all the time. Just because you want to screw doesn't mean you have to take whatever they do. So if something feels wrong, communicate it. Because if you don't, they're never going to learn. Tops, same deal. If there's a position that you don't like, or hey, I'm not comfortable moving like this, let them know. Or I need more of this, let them know. This is a cooperative effort. This isn't just a whole plug situation, guys. Okay? You're both getting your cookies here, so you should at least have the common decency to speak truthfully to each other.
That's it. So that's the mental, that's the body cues, and that is true. Like you're right, and I like that is true that we do need to be in tune not only with our bodies but in tune with our partner's body. You could tell when someone is tensing up. You could tell when someone is in pain. Be aware of that. Okay, so that's the mental. So now that we have gotten to a place now where we are okay, we're going to be open with how we feel, we're going to communicate what's comfortable to us, what's not, and all of that. Now, so okay, so let's say someone is having sex with someone and they are giving those discomfort signals, the cues, the pain cues and stuff like that.
Right.
What are the techniques now that we can go into? You mentioned this little two palm method and all of that stuff, but is there a method we need to practice before we get to the two palm method, or how would that work?
The twin palm method is a foreplay method, but we can get to that later.
Okay.
All right. But
Okay.
let's say we're in the midst of it, right?
Okay, we're in the midst.
And I push and I move and I hit a wrong angle in you. You tense up. What I'm going to immediately do is stop. And I'm going to ask, you good? If you tell me, no, I'm not good, all right, what do I need? What do you need? If you tell me I need less, if you tell me to pull out, I'm going to pull out slowly. If you tell me you need less in, I'm going to pull out a little bit less. Tell me if you need more in, I'm going to try to get as much as I can. This is the moment where you as the receiver have to figure out what you need. If this is too much inside you, hey man, back off some. Or, you know what? I need a rest. And it's okay. Tops. It's okay to rest. Bottoms, it's okay to rest. Sex should last 73 hours. You're going to get sore. You're going to get tired. You're not as young as you used to be. It's okay to take breaks. All right? Me personally, there's nothing like having a good 20-minute session and going out back and smoking a cigarette buck naked. Cut that. Don't print that. I'm ranting. Don't print that. Nope.
Okay.
But yeah, seriously though, that is a time that you guys stop whatever activity, figure out what is needed, and do it. Even if it means stopping for a bit, even if it means stopping at all. I mean, I hate to say it, but some of you guys are, and you can't expect someone to just take all of that in a jackhammer motion for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, would you want to take you for 45 minutes, bruh? Think about that.
Think about it.
That's what I tell dudes all the time. They hit me up and they're like, yeah, man, I'm swinging. Yeah, but would you want to take that for 45 minutes? No.
Yeah. Okay. But what I hear is basically, is communication. That is the biggest thing. Communication is key. Communication is key. So that's for anyone, top, bottom, male, female, whatever.
Communication is key.
Communication, and don't sacrifice yourself, because I know I have been guilty of that. And especially in my younger years, of just feeling that I was supposed to sacrifice my own comfort and my own pleasure to satisfy my partner. And that's just. I think, and I do think a lot of females probably feel that same
John,
way, to be like that. So,
John, you have to learn to enjoy, not endure.
Enjoy, not endure. I wrote that down. That's beautiful. Enjoy, not endure. I think that's saying, you've been dropping a lot of good sayings in this episode, and that's a great one, even for life in general. We are to enjoy life and not endure life. And even when it comes to sex, especially, it is to be an enjoyable experience and not endure. All right, cool. Let's move on to some of these techniques, and then I want to get into some safety things too. But what are some of the techniques?
Okay, I have several techniques that I personally like to use. Okay. Analingus, which is the active licking the anus, ass eating, of course, is a favorite of mine. That's going to coincide with the whole cleanliness thing we're going to go into next, because that's important. But I also like to use a variety of plugs. And like the thing about a plug is it's not always going to be a very large and intimidating. Sometimes it can be very small. Also, I like to keep a set of rubber gloves or neoprene gloves. That way, when I do use my fingers, my nails are covered. One, so it makes entering easier. Number two, if my nails are dirty, I don't get anything inside you. All right. Let's see. Now, for actual techniques, I have something called the twin palm method. Now, it can be modified for both uh, penis havers and non-penis havers. But basically, what you're doing is, and it depends on how many fingers your partner can take at that time, is you're going to put one finger in the top, and it's usually doggy style position, and one finger in the bottom, or if it's a penis haver, you grab it. You grab it closely by the base, and you just stroke as you finger. Right? Now, what we're trying to do here with those actions is to associate anal stimulation with sexual pleasure in general. Right? It's literally like a Pavlov's dog type thing, you know? We're ringing the bell so that you salivate, if it makes any sense.
Yeah.
Right? And that's always a good way to start. Now, another thing that I like to do is this particular hetero women, but it works differently with queer men. But I like to use a small plug. Um, I make games out of this. A game I teach called Hold the Plug, and that is where I place in a nice plug, start at the small, and then we give each other oral between the two things. You and your partner give each other oral between the two methods, and if the plug falls out, we just put in a larger one,
Mm.
and that helps not only, like I said, associating anal stimulation with pleasure, but also low key opening you up because it's small, larger shrugs all the way up. Let's see. I also enjoy using vibrating butt plugs, thrusting plugs. But mostly, if you don't have all that stuff at home, folks, fingers and tongues. Fingers and tongues. Okay? That is the best way to go if you don't have a lot of stuff. And when you're back there, don't be shy. Okay? Push your saliva into it. You're pre-lubing the area before you get to it. That way, when you do start pushing in fingers and do start pushing in toys, you can tease before you actually have to apply lube.
Hmm.
All right? And then, of course, there's sexy words, words of affirmation. People love words of affirmation.
It's my love language.
Yep. If your partner takes two fingers to the knuckle, let them know that they did such an amazing job. Especially if you couldn't get a pinky in there 2 days ago. Right? Please praise each other's successes. If you're with a guy and he's pretty big and you've been wanting to but you're scared, and you guys use my method and you get like the head in, clap, let them know, yeah, you got the head in. Now let's see how far we can go before it gets too painful. You know what I'm saying? Give them praise. These are all my foreplay methods.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Mobu. That is beautiful. I'm like, that is beautiful. That really is. Wow. Okay. Wow. Yes, we are. I love that. I love the stressing of the communication. I love that, and not only like the communication of what we're feeling and how it feels, but the praise, the words of affirmation. I think that's, oh wow, okay, good job. That's good. And I love the techniques. I think the techniques, the neoprene gloves, that's a good one. I do that, like you said, because you do want to be safe. You want to be secure. You don't want to scratch anything. You don't want to bring any dirt into someone's body or anything like that. And so you have found neoprene to be the best. The neoprene gloves to be the best tool for that, or
Yes,
best
because some
like to
people are
to
allergic
help.
to latex, so I try
Right.
neoprene.
Right, right. And I also want to commend you for saying that correctly when you said that people with penises. That was, because even me as a member of the LGBTQ community, forget to change my language to be more inclusive. And when you said that, it hit me to say, "Oh wow!" Because if I'm saying men, and all of that, I am neglecting or overlooking, maybe my trans women community.
Right.
You know, right? They have penises too, and I'm saying man. So I want to commend you for that, for you know having that ability to put that into your vocabulary to say people with penises. Wow. So thank you for that, because I caught that and was like, okay, Jonathan, you got to do better.
That's because my
Um,
program is for pretty much everyone, because we all have buttholes. I mean,
we all have buttholes. We don't have to be a male or a female for the butthole part or anything
mhm.
identified there. Because we all have that. But I did catch that, and it just shows me how serious you are about what you do and your profession, that you make certain that you make it inclusive enough to say that. So I definitely commend you for saying that. Definitely that.
Shall we get to safety and cleanliness now?
Come on, safety and cleanliness. Let's go.
Okay, so this is going to this is also going to be a small talk about lube. All right, so safety and cleanliness. First thing you want to do, now you can do this the old-fashioned way, which I like to do because it feels better, it's natural on the body, or you can do it the quick and easy way, and we'll go you the quick and easy way first. Just order these things called always ready pills. You can get them on Amazon, like $27. They pelletize your poop, make it very small and manageable. So, like, cleanliness, you're literally practically ready for anal sex at any point in time because your poop leaves no trace. Like I said,
Mm.
that's fine. I'm an old school type of guy. I like things to be a bit more natural and holistic. All right. So, and I'll use myself as an example because I'm a pansexual male, verse top. So, the reason why I'm so good at what I do is because I've experienced it from both ends. Get that out of the way. But what I like to do is I like to eat things like charcuterie and like salads, hard cheeses. If you're lactose intolerant, that's okay. What you're gonna want to do is still eat fiber and greens and just get your stomach regulated for about 3 to 4 days prior. Not a huge thing. You can go back to eating your hot dogs and stuff before that, but the 3 to 4 days before the event, you stay away from dirty fast food, greasy meats, okay, heavy meats. You stay away from those things. Those things way down in your stomach leave greasy residue. That's hard to clean out. All right. Like I said, charcuterie, hard cheeses, dried meats, things of that nature. Fruits. I try to cleanse my body as much as I can to pare down my fecal matter so when I do cleanse it, it's guaranteed to all come out. And so the morning of, I'm going to cleanse. And then a few hours before the event, I'm going to cleanse. And in that way, I am definitely clean for the person I'm going to be with. Now, one of my partners, one of my first students, her name's Velma, beautiful thing. You can catch us online if you know what to look for. Um,
Mm.
but she doesn't eat. She drinks like smoothies and eats very light the day of, and that's her prerogative. I mean, she's used to it at this point, you know. It, but like that, I don't recommend that for everybody else. That's just what she does. That's her personal way of doing it. But that's what I do. Now, once you've gotten to that point, when it comes to lube, do not ever in your life use anal ease or anything that numbs the area. That's dangerous. You need to feel every pinch, every twist, everything so you know when to stop. Otherwise, if you're completely numb back there, the top could do some real damage and you'll never know until the next day. And by then it might be too late. So it's okay to use things like anal relaxants. Anal relaxants simply are like muscle relaxants for your booty. They don't numb anything, they just allow your sphincters to open up more naturally. And we'll get to the whole sphincter conversation in just a moment. That's where we're going to talk about the physicality. Um, but yeah, use anal relaxants. Don't use numbers. Use something that you're comfortable with. Me personally, I like coconut oil and the stuff that my hairdresser used to make for me. It's hypoallergenic, could be used anywhere, and only a dab would do you. It's amazing stuff.
And it's an anal relaxant. You use coconut oil as an anal relaxant?
No, I use coconut oil as an actual lube.
As a lube. Okay, so these are lubes. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
there are
following.
products that are called that are actually have the designation of anal relaxant. I
Okay.
if my I'm in a transition phase right now, folks. So a lot of my tools are like locked away or buried under stuff. I wish I could have pulled out my kit to show you what I'm talking about. But maybe if I'm on a second time, I have my kit ready by then, right?
Yeah. I got a feeling you will be back.
I
I've
hope so.
enjoyed this conversation.
Yeah,
And again, we in the show notes, we will definitely let everyone know where they can find you at. Because if you're listening to this, like I am, you're probably like, wow, you're saying some great things, and you may have some questions that I'm not asking. So I do encourage you after
definitely.
this episode to reach out to Mobu if there is something that you need to know for yourself that he did not touch on. Now, I know you might get into this, but I know you're talking about the cleansing, and I do want to hear. And thank you for telling us about the diet, the fiber, and all of that, and how to prepare leading up to it. But what are the actual like safe methods of cleaning? Because I know, see, when I first came out and started having sex as a gay man, we were at first using like feminine douches, and yes,
Oh no, no, I get
we
it.
would
I get it.
well,
The rounded tip is nice.
I saw you looking like what, like that, or like fleets, and then and now we've graduated now to like just bottles with water, making our own solutions and stuff like that. So go ahead, tell us about.
Okay. The best and safest way, believe it or not, using the feminine douche actual bottle is best because it has a nice rounded tip. Your average enema is a very clipped tip. It's kind of discomforting going in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like, yes, you can use those bottles or the tips for them. But the best thing, believe it or not, is regular old room temperature water.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need any soapy solution. You don't need any, feminine dose. Like, the last thing you want to do is stuff vinegar up your butt. You're going to be killing some bacteria that you need.
Right,
Okay?
right.
You're going to be killing bacteria that you need. Same reason why I say don't use hot water back there. And don't use cold water either. Cold water dries out the colon. And the last thing you want is a dry colon when something's pressing against it.
Mm. So you said tap water, but wait, I mean, is tap water safe, or should it be purified water? Should
No.
it be? Mm-hmm,
Unless you have like severe hard water problems, tap water is fine. If
mm-hmm,
you want to be like classy, go for bottled water or
mm-hmm.
alkaline water. But I'm just saying, room temperature water is best. Like when I know I'm having someone over who probably doesn't have the means to clean themselves before they get to me, I always keep several bottles of pure, room temperature water in my douches
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that's the best stuff ever. It really is. It's not going to harm anything, and it might even actually, in certain cases, help hydrate you back there if you haven't been drinking
Right.
enough water. You know. So yeah, plain room temperature water. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
major.
And then I think so. I know the method we use as gay men and myself is you continue that until it's as
Clear.
clear as possible.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's exactly it.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot
Right.
until it's clear, and yeah, just
Right.
use. I also like to wait about 30 to 40 minutes before I actually engage because you might
Mm-hmm.
have a little pocket of water up in there.
Mm-hmm.
You cough one
Mm-hmm.
good time and doosh, there it goes. Say goodbye to that pair of shorts.
I've been there before. To be like, nope, that wasn't a poot. I thought I had to poot. Nope.
I just washed these shorts too. Damn, it's my favorite shorts. Guess we're going Donald Ducking today.
Oh man, it's so funny when I told you about how I think that gay men will benefit from this conversation. You were like, "What, really?" But understanding like no one teaches us this stuff. So when we're younger, like for
Really?
example, like I remember people telling me or advising me to put a cap full of vinegar in the dish bottle because it would make your hole tighter. so that right, so that
Of
when you
course, of course.
so that when you engage, you don't want your man to know that like you've been used before and all of that. So it was just to make it a little tighter.
Even in the gay community, there's misogyny. This bothers me.
Yes, ain't that
Holy
something?
shit!
Yeah.
Ah, I just learned something. Fuck!
Yes, yes. It's a little bit of
Wow!
vinegar in there,
So you can be
your
tighter for
partner will
your
be like
man.
for your man, right? But I talked to a lot of tops who actually say that no, they actually do not like that. Like they want it to be open and smooth. Like they
Smooth
don't
entry.
smooth entry that aggravates them to have to sit there and make it open up.
Eh,
But no,
eh.
but that was what I was told. Put your little cap full of vinegar in there to draw it up a little bit.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
I guess I need to start focusing on gay guys because you guys are fucking up right now.
right. And hopefully the older ones have gotten it. Hopefully the older ones are saying, "Nah, we ain't doing that." But I do think about like the younger gay guys, and now though you can Google, you can AI, you can do what to find best practices and how to
Yeah.
what you need to know to engage in anal sex. Back in my day, like I'll be 41 this weekend, so back in my day we didn't have that. I just had, some older gay guys would tell me stuff or whatnot, and I just have to figure it out on my own. So I do feel that yes, that many people can benefit from what you are doing and what you're saying just in this moment. Yeah, yeah. So I know you said you wanted to touch on the sphincter because I don't, and it's okay because I don't want you to give it all away in this episode because again, you are an anal guru. You have coaching sessions. I'm gonna continue to plug that if you're listening to this and you're saying, "Oh, but he should have asked him this," or "He should have asked him about this," or if you are saying that right now while you're listening to this, that means you need to reach out to Mobu yourself and get one of those coaching sessions. But if you do have questions that I did not answer, you can send them to me too. And then maybe when I have Mobu on again, I'll be able to ask those questions. But talk about that sphincter.
Okay. So your butt has two muscles that work in conjunction with each other: the inner sphincter and
Mm.
the outer sphincter. The thing about
The second
inner,
hole.
outer, yes,
Okay.
inner sphincter, outer sphincter. What makes them unique is that when one relaxes, one contracts. One contracts, one relaxes. This is why your poop is always a certain shape.
Oh.
When engaging in anal sex, what you're attempting to do is to get them both to relax. Because if, let's say this is the outer sphincter, this opens up, this one's closing. When this one closes, this one opens up. So when you're attempting with anal sex, you're going to train both of them to open. And that's my sphincter talk. How to do that? Buy my book, which, by the way, I'm actually going to start writing once I get to Ohio. My brother, drunken off of expensive liquor, looking every bit like a zaddy. God, I love my brother. I'm so jealous. You think I'm handsome? My brother is like handsome. Okay.
Okay.
Ugh.
Hey, brother.
My brother got all the good looks, I swear. And he told me, because he listened to me talk about this the other night. He was like, write the damn book, boy. Just do it. And I thought for a minute. I was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
You're fucking right. So, yes,
And
I am writing the book.
with AI, let me tell you, okay, never mind. We and you will talk about that
My brother said the
later
same thing you're
because
about to tell me. Trust me.
yeah. I don't want to get all the way, but me
Right.
and you will get together because we can take the transcript from this and yeah. But anywho, so yeah, it's all right. So how I know we're not going to give that technique away, but I made the joke at the beginning about the push out, keep pushing, push
Yes,
out. Yeah. So is that
that is part of it.
a technique that is part of
That
it?
is part
Okay.
of it.
So
That's going to be pushing out in conjunction with deep breathing. We're going to give you,
mm-mm.
some breathing counts. Because what we're doing is, and this is, you're going to laugh, but this is a phrase I learned from a gay trucker that I ran with back when I was driving trucks. He says, breathe deep and relax all your muscles. And that's what breathing deep really does. So we're going to be doing that in conjunction with, stimulation, the in and out motions. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to spread the fingers. We may twist a bit, but we're going to get you breathing. We're going to stimulate your other areas while we are working with that. And the goal of it is that when I remove my fingers, your sphincters are going to close and twitch because they are missing something. They're missing what's in there. And by that point, we have trained the sphincter to enjoy being penetrated. But like I said, buy
Wow.
my book to get the video link and whatnot. I'm joking, but buy my book though when
It'll
I
be
write it.
there. Hey, it's common. It's common. This is wonderful conversation. Wonderful. We're gonna get ready to wrap it up too. So where can people find Mobu? Where can they reach out to you if they're listening and they want to know more about you, and where can they go?
Well, as of right now, I'm currently working on a new Fat Life page, which will be available probably within the next 2 to 3 months. Well, actually, 2 to 3 weeks.
You
Like I
said
said,
Fat Life?
yes,
Fat
Fat
Life?
Fat Life. I'll be working on a new page for that. Right now, you can find me on Facebook at Mobu, spelled just like the name here, space Kaka, Coccka. Mobu Kaka. You can find me on Facebook there for right now. Like I said, folks, I'm in the middle of a huge transition. I'm going to be leaving Atlanta, going to Ohio at the end of this month. So, I can't really have any sessions. I usually have them at my home. I have a playroom office, but that's currently being used for storage and other stuff right now. I'll try to get things together. But once I am settled, I will be having consultations in my playroom/office.
Do you do virtual?
I do also do virtual. I do virtual. I do phone. Um, just that the homework. I do assign homework in these things. Okay. Actually, before I go, can I just give you what a typical session goes like?
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yes.
what a typical session is going to be, you're going to arrive at my playroom, or we're going to link up digitally, and we're going to have at least an hour-long conversation about everything you've heard about anal sex, your fears, your myths, your concerns, any trauma that you have. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to try to assuage as much of it as possible to answer the questions you have as quickly as possible. Then we're going to go on to what I like to call the inspection practical demonstration stage. And this is where, if it's a couple, I'm going to help them engage into some preliminary foreplay type practices to understand what's going on, to understand, the parts involved, right? And then from there, we're going to send you home with some homework. And then you're going to come back again. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to move on to the next step. But, yeah, I can do virtual stuff, and when I assign homework, I really need that done. I want you to journal it. I want you to call me. I want you to tell me how things are going. Don't care what time of day or night it is. I'm invested in your pleasure.
Go ahead. Mobu. I love this. I love how serious you are about this. I love your dedication to this. You have definitely shown that you put in the work. Because I did when I first was like, okay, we're going to have this conversation. I was like, I'm not sure, has he done the work to consider himself the anal guru? And you have definitely proved in this episode that you have earned that title. Um, I think that, and I'm sure you have a lot of testimonials from people you have been with and partnered with
I
that
do.
can. I know. Well, I don't know, but I know. Just from what you're saying, I'm like, oh wow, I'm sure he is creating beautiful experiences for his partners. Yes. All right. So you all heard it here. You can reach out to Mobu on Facebook. Mobu is his first name. Last name, Cocka, Cocka, right?
Yep.
Mobu Kaka. Also, if you have any trouble finding him, or if there's some questions that you would like me to ask him for you, you can email me. My email address, I think, is Jon John at byh.com, I believe, beyondyourhorizon.com. I'll make sure I put everything in the show notes so that you can reach out to me as well.
Hey, can I come
Yeah,
back in like maybe 30 to 45 days once I get everything settled up in Ohio?
of course.
Because
Of
yeah,
course.
I
Of
like this.
course.
This is fun.
Of course. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed it yourself too. And yes, I love to talk to you again. I would love to get a part two. So you all heard it. He's going to come back maybe a month or so. So that means that if you do have questions, send them to me, email me, and so that we can do a good Q&A next time
That
he's
I would
on.
love. I would
I'm
love
so
Q and
glad.
A's.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Like you remind me of what was the lady, Miss Ruth, Dr. Ruth, that was a
Dr.
sex.
Ruth, yes,
Yes.
she's an inspiration. She was.
And as I'm looking at you now, I'm like, okay, like this is our Dr. Ruth, and it yeah. Thank you for being willing to even be on.
Thank you for letting me get it out there. My whole goal is to sexually educate my people so that we can thrive beyond what is like expected of us. We're amazing at everything, y'all.
Mhm. I know that, and I know that. That's why the show is called Beyond Your Horizon.
Just understand that we're amazing at everything.
Everything we put our mind to. Yeah, yeah. All right, you all. Well, thank you all for listening, and y'all have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I can tell you now that I really enjoyed recording it. After the recording, we discussed another episode that we can do, and this time we want to center it on anal pleasure for straight cis men. Yes, it is true that the male G-spot is commonly considered to be the prostate, which can be accessed through the anus. When the prostate is stimulated properly, it can produce intense sexual pleasure, and for some men, it will even lead to an orgasm without any stimulation to the penis. To connect with Mobu directly, find him on Facebook at Mobu Coca, which is spelled Mobucocka. And if you'd like to reach out to me with questions you like for me to ask Mobu on our next episode, you can email me at jonjohn@gobyh.com. That is Jon John spelled JONJOHN at go B as in beyond, Y as in your, H as in horizon.com. Also, feel free to reach out to me if you'd like to be a guest on the Beyond Your Horizon podcast. Wherever you are listening or watching this podcast, I hope that you would like, share, rate, and or subscribe. Make it a great day. And in the words of the late Uncle Johnny Lee Davis, keep pushing.